And I'm Devika and welcome to a new episode on our channel, and today we are talking about common English mistakes. So I picked up 5 common English mistakes that I've seen many people do, not just students, many professionals also do this. So keep watching the video till the end, because by the end of today's video you'll be aware about these 5 common mistakes that probably you're also making. You will know how to overcome them, you'll know how to avoid them when you write or when you talk. So the first mistake that we're going to look at today is in terms of using a semicolon. Now, a semicolon is different than a colon, a semicolon is different than a comma, a semicolon is different than a full stop or a period. Okay, now why do we use semicolon, or when do we use semicolon? Now I've seen many people, especially writers and also people who are frequently into writing newsletters or emails, they tend to put in semicolon just to make their write-up more fancy. Now, semicolon is not to be used to make your things appear more fancy or sophisticated. There's a certain use of semicolon, and you just cannot place a semicolon instead of a comma. The most common mistake that people tend to do is replace a comma with a semicolon when it's actually incorrect. Now, comma is something that we do when we have 2 parts of a sentence or 2 phrases and we use a comma. Okay, we know when to use a comma very well because we have been doing that. But replacing a comma with a semicolon doesn't work. There's a rule when to use a semicolon. Now, semicolons are into action when we have 2 complete sentences. Now, what do I mean by complete sentences? If you're not sure about that, we already have videos on this on our channel. I'll leave a link to those in the description box. But to tell you briefly, a complete sentence is something that has a subject. It will have a verb. Now, if you don't know what subject and verbs are, that is also mentioned in the videos talking about complete sentences. And also, if you're not sure about what subjects are or what objects are, there's another video on subjects and objects and subject-object questions as well on our channel. I'll leave a link to that also in the description box, so you can visit that, watch that video to get an idea of what subjects and objects are supposed to be in a sentence. But to give you a brief idea about it, a complete sentence will have a subject, it will have a verb, and sometimes an object as well. Now, that is how a complete sentence looks. Now, when there are 2 related complete sentences, okay, you have one complete sentence and another one complete sentence, and these 2 sentences are related, that is when instead of using a full stop, you can use a semicolon, because you want to show the association or the relationship between these 2 sentences. So these 2 sentences, these 2 independent complete sentences can make use of a full stop or a period at the end, but since they are related, since they are associated with each other, you want to show the linkage, you can make use of a semicolon. So now let me give you a hang of how semicolons are supposed to work through examples. Now look at these sentences. I'll call you tomorrow, I'll tell you what to do. Okay, so these 2 are independent complete sentences. So I'll call you tomorrow, and then you can make use of a period or a full stop. I'll tell you what to do is another complete sentence which can also take a full stop and a period. But these 2 are associated, these 2 are linked. I'll call you tomorrow, and when I call you tomorrow, I'll tell you what to do. So because you want to show the association between these 2 sentences, you can make use of a semicolon. So it will be I'll call you tomorrow, semicolon, I'll tell you what to do. So semicolons are used when you have 2 complete sentences, 2 linked complete sentences, and you want to show the association. You make use of a semicolon between these 2 sentences. Common mistake that we're going to look at today is with the use of this phrase called as. Now, you might have heard people use it very often, you might have used it yourself, and you will ask me, what is wrong with called as? It's very simple, it's commonly used. No, there's a common mistake hidden here as well. Called as is not accepted in standard English. You do not add as with called. Okay, it is never called as, it is called something, it is not called as something. Now I'll explain it through an example. So we'll take a math example. The incorrect way is, this is called as a graph. The graphs we do, the graph that I'm talking about. So if you write something like, this is called as a graph. No, called as a graph is not correct. You say this is called a graph. If you need to use as, you can frame the sentence as, this is known as a graph. Okay, so this is known as a graph is fine. This is called as a graph is not correct. If you use called, you would write it as this is called a graph. If you want to make use of the word as, you say this is known as a graph. So with called, you do not add as. The third mistake is a very common one, idly seen at the end of email responses. I'm talking about the phrase revert back. Okay, do you say revert back? Do you use the term revert back quite often? Then let me tell you, it is not correct. Revert back, the use of back here is redundant, quite like a reverse back. So when you're using the word reverse, you're going back. So why would you say reverse back? The same logic applies with revert back as well. Revert itself means going back or to get back. So if you use the term back with revert, it is redundant and you shouldn't be doing it. So if you are answering to an email and you want to say that you'll get back to that person, you say I will revert. You don't say I will revert back. The next common mistake is with how you use etc. Okay, etc. dot etc. How do you use that? Now if you go by what experts say, especially in formal writing, you're not supposed to make use of etc. too often. Okay, and otherwise also you do not end a series of words with etc. when those series of words begin with something like for example, including, such as, or like. So when you have such as something, such as these, you do not add etc. at the end. So I'll explain this better with an example. Now see the sentence. Medicinal plants such as tulsi, neem and turmeric. Okay, I did not add an etc. here, but some of y'all might say that we can write it as medicinal plants such as neem, comma, tulsi, comma, turmeric, comma, etc. No, that is not correct. You wouldn't be adding etc. at the end here because you made use of such as. So when you make use of words like including, like, such as, and you give a series of terms, you do not add in with an etc. The use of such as here is obvious that the writer has more examples in his or her mind, but he wishes to just state 3. So when the writer writes medicinal plants such as neem, tulsi and turmeric, the writer says that there could be more medicinal plants, but he has chosen to specify just 3. So such as neem, tulsi and turmeric doesn't mean that medicinal plants are only of these 3 types. There are more. That's why you have said such as. So these 3 are 3 probabilities or 3 possibilities. There could be other variants as well. Last mistake that we are discussing today is in terms of using a dash. Now when you specify ranges in terms of numbers or dates, you've seen or you idly use a dash when we have a range. Say a range between 2 numbers, say 150 to 160. You use a dash. Or when we have dates, a range of dates, we use a dash. So what is this dash? Is it a hyphen? No. We often tend to make this mistake of inserting a hyphen to show these ranges, which is incorrect. You do not insert a hyphen here. What it takes is known as n dash. Okay, now there's a complete video on what n dashes are, what hyphens are, how you differentiate, when to use, a detailed video on that. I'll leave a link of that also in the description box. You can visit that. But to address this common mistake that we're talking about today here is when specifying ranges, you do not use a hyphen. What you use is an n dash. An n dash is again a medium sized dash which is slightly longer than a hyphen. So when you visually see this, it would appear to be longer than a hyphen. So going forward, when you're specifying ranges, like in terms of numbers or dates, use an n dash and not a hyphen. And to get that n dash on your keyboard, go to your numeric keypad and you press Alt 0150. So Alt 0150 would give you the n dash. So do not choose the hyphen from the keyboard. Go in for an n dash when specifying ranges. These were a collection of the 5 common mistakes that I've seen many people do. So I have hope that you've learned from these, and going forward you wouldn't make these mistakes anymore. And do leave in the comment section which is the one mistake you used to do till today and this video helped you overcome it and you'll avoid it in the future. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'm surprised, because I want you to subscribe and hit the bell notification, because we do keep coming up with such videos on enhancing English and English tutorials. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon right next to it, so that you keep receiving updates of all our upcoming videos. And don't forget to like this video if you found it informative, and I'll wrap it up here today, and I'll see you all soon again with another interesting and informative video. Till then, take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching today's video, and I shall see you all soon. Bye bye.